Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy Meal Prep Sunday. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. Maybe you got a nice cup of something. I have my own homemade lattes. Maybe you guys got teas. Good morning. So say hi, pop on, and tell me what you're drinking. Is it tea? Is it water? Is it water with lemon? Is it coffee? What you got? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm going to actually start with a dessert first. Our gingerbread is back, which is pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back going. Throw that in the oven, and then I'm gonna start working on another this one's new actually. It's our African stew, and that's what we're getting started with today for this week. You got coffee, yay. Hey Stephanie, how's everything? All right, I'm actually going to use our new scissors, which are actually pretty good for left-handed, which I am left-handed, but I'm so used to scissors being right-handed that I don't really can work it really well left-handed, which is hilarious. All right, so that's the gingerbread. I'm just going to get some eggs going, some molasses, and a bit of oil, whip that up, throw in our gluten-free mix. So it's the fall. So we've got things like pumpkin spice loaf bread, the word went for me, and gingerbread. And then our new stuff is carrot cake, which I will be honest, I'm not particularly a carrot cake person. So I'm hoping for some lovely customers. Oh, that's great, Stephanie, who are all like, I really love carrot cake and I want to try it. And you guys be my guinea pigs and tell me what it tastes like. And so from what I'm hearing from consultants and all that, they're loving it, which is pretty awesome. Just so you know what I'm doing here is literally 2 eggs I'm going to whisk up with a half a cup of oil and a quarter of a cup of the molasses, which I may have put a little more than that because I wasn't paying attention, but that's what happens. And I've lost my oil. And a bit of oil. There we go. Gonna mix that up a bit, and then I'm gonna put in the seasonings, mix it up. I've already got our cool little like mini loaf pans oiled up and ready to go. Oven is already on and set. So part of that is kind of what we do for meal prepping, is getting your station all set up for what you're doing for today. Hi Laura, good morning. Oh, that's awesome. I can stop him from eating all of it. That's so cool. Very good. So I'm just doing the gingerbread one because we actually like that one here a lot. It's great with some, caramel icing on top, or just as it is, which is more of what I'm going to do because I am trying to partake in our 90-day challenge. So this is where I do this so that I have a little bit, little bites of things, portion sizing. So what was I saying? I was saying something else, and now I've completely forgotten what I was saying. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do 3. Part of the meal prepping part of it is actually setting yourself up. That's where I was going with that. In the morning or day or evening, whenever it is that you're actually going to get around to meal prepping, is just plan out what you're going to eat, of course, and then set yourself up a nice station, which is what I've got here. I mean, partly this is, of course, because I'm going live, but the other part is it just makes more sense. You may as well do things systematically. So the things that take the longest, get going on those first, and then you can work on things while things are on the stove or while things are in the oven, that kind of idea. And you can make a mess like I am, but hey, what's the fun if there's not a little bit of mess? Okay, so I'm just gonna make 3, and there's my little gingerbread mini loaves that are gonna go in the oven for about 20 minutes or so. Okay. And in case you're wondering what's in the gingerbread, it's rice flour, organic cane sugar, chickpea flour, spices, baking soda, and sea salt. So it's really low on sugar, and it's really low in all the sodium and all that kind of stuff. It's just literally gluten-free flours, some seasoning and spices and that to make yourself a quick 20-minute gingerbread cake. Now, I put it in the oven, but you don't have to. You could actually put it in the microwave. If you got one, you could actually put the mini loaf pans in there, a round cake pan or a loaf or something, and it will go in there. So if you use actually the round one, the round cake one, it'll be about 4 minutes in the microwave and then 6 minutes resting, and then you'll have your gingerbread. So basically the time that it takes for it to be in the oven, you could have already be eating it. So that's how pretty cool you can make it. Hey, good morning everyone. So that's that. Okay, so next thing is getting going on our African stew. So African stew here, it says you got 2 large sweet potatoes. I actually don't have any, so I'm just going to use regular potatoes today. You chop them up into small cubes, throw them in the microwave, have them going for about 6 minutes. While that's going in your wok or large pan, you can have ground turkey going. So that's already in there. I just got to smush it up. Once that gets moving, like browning up, I can add the seasonings, and then with the seasonings I can add tomatoes, coconut milk, and some broth, and then just start moving along. So first I'm going to do is chop up the potatoes, get those in the microwave, and then work from there. And now I'm actually just going to throw potatoes on the floor because that's fun. And I'll show you all my butt because that's fun too, right? I have any questions or comments, feel free to post. I'll try to answer now. If not, I'll get to you later. But anything about what I'm using or anything about meal prepping, feel free to ask away. So basically what I'm going to say is, like, cooking from home, of course, is quite healthier for you, obviously, because, right, you know what's in your food, you're in control of it. But a lot of what it is that it does kind of stressful, you know, trying to figure out what to cook for everyone. What does everybody like? Are you gonna get bored with it? Do you have all the ingredients? How long does it take? Is it complicated, right? All these things kind of come into play when you're trying to think about what you're gonna cook for the week or just for that day. So that's partly why I do it now. So I do it a couple of, like, you know, this is my Sunday morning meal prep. I will prep for the week, so knowing kind of like what we're having for breakfast, what's available for lunch, what's for dinner. And it doesn't have to be exact. Like, again, flexibility is key here. You don't have to be like, it's going to be exactly these things, but having it kind of planned out so that you know that you're going to be using these vegetables, this kind of protein, and then you can just switch up the seasonings that you're using, the flavors you're using, that kind of idea. And that's kind of where I go about using a base, right? So if you're paying attention to what you're usually eating, which is one of the key things I tell you guys to do, is like to actually be aware of the food that you normally eat. So what are your favorite recipes? What's the base protein, the base vegetable that's in there? What is your go-to when you're getting takeout? Maybe going to a restaurant, which that doesn't happen too much right now, right? So what are you doing? So what kind of food do you normally get, and how can you adapt that to other recipes? And then that's kind of where I can come in, or Epicure can come in with all the different swapping ideas and things that are out there. Okay, so that's in there. It says about 6 minutes, and that's it. Potatoes are done. Now it was going to move into the actually getting the turkey, ground turkey going in the wok. So the ground turkey's in there. It's going to turn it on, and then I'm just going to get myself set up with all of the water stuff, liquid stuff. So I just going to put the seasonings in once it starts to ground, and then I'm going to put in the tomatoes, which is the part I don't have a can of tomatoes. What I'm going to do is just chop up a tomato we have. It's pretty much, I would just throw everything into your Instant Pot, right? Because that's the whole point of your Instant Pot. You can just toss everything in. So if you're using, just put the sweet potatoes, the ground turkey, or if you're using a vegan or vegetarian option like black beans or chickpeas or something, those would go in. The seasonings, the tomatoes, everything, and just toss it into your Instant Pot. and it's just a normal stew. So I don't know, like I don't have an Instapot obviously because everything I cook is in 20 minutes, so I'm not really concerned about trying to speed stuff up. But go ahead and just toss it all into it, and I would assume in like 10-15 minutes you should have your stew, right? Okay, so I got some tomatoes. It says a large can. I will admit this is not a full large can, but that's all right. Actually, you know what? We'll just do the whole tomato. What I love about our ceramic knives goes right through tomatoes without squishing them. So I'm making this because it actually makes a really good lunch as well. So I'm kind of setting us up for quick dinners and quick suppers or lunches today. So I got tomatoes. I'm just gonna squish the meat, get it all brown up. Anyone has questions? Good morning, everyone who's come in. We're just getting started with gingerbread in the oven, and I'm making African stew, which is one of our new flavors. So from here it now says I'm going to put in the seasonings, I'm going to put in the tomatoes, and then the light coconut milk, and then a cup of a broth. So I'm just going to use our chicken broth, but you could use a vegetarian broth that we have, or your own. These seasonings. Quickly, I didn't show you what the seasonings look like, but you see the yellow color there? That's the actual seasonings that I'll tell you what's in it in a second. So the tomatoes, coconut milk, and just need some water for the broth. Stirring it up, and then I'm going to add the potatoes, and then it says actually put a little bit of peanut butter in it. You could put seed butter or soy butter or something in, and then it'll be ready. Okay, so there you go. African stew will be ready in a few more minutes. Just got the potatoes to be done, dump them in there, and another 5 minutes after that it'll be ready for me to add in the nut peanut butter, and a couple minutes after that it's done. That's it. So in the African stew, it's got onions, garlic, spices, inactive nutritional yeast, some chives, sea salt, cayenne, and mustard. So it's 2 grams of fiber in there. It does have well, it's got tomatoes, so obviously it's got a bit of sugar in it, so you could remove that if you needed to. And only 170 milligrams of sodium, so pretty cool. So that's that. Instructions are right there. Literally, that's just where I got the instruction from. Nutritional information, everything is right on the package. So there we go. So let me just see. Potatoes look like they're almost done. Toasty. So there we go. Just under 5 minutes. The potatoes are all done. So I'm just going to give the stew 5 minutes before I add. And I now lost my timing, didn't I? There we go. Okay, so there we go. Stew just needs about 5 more minutes. Put the potatoes in a couple minutes after that with a little bit of peanut butter. And then the stew is ready. And that's great for some lunches and some dinners. And then we have a dessert, gingerbread, that's in the oven as well. So next I actually was going to just make up a quick, for lunches I tend not to want to have a lot of meat. I tend to be more plant-based for my lunches, and dinner I might wait to have some meat then. So what I like doing is actually getting chickpeas and beans and things and having them just seasoned and ready to go to top onto nourish bowls and things like that. So I'm just going to rinse out my can of chickpeas. They're awesome because it collapsible, especially when you're living in a small apartment or condo or something. So then it just collapses, or even great for travel. So there it is, nice and flat. And then I'm just going to do sesame ginger dressing on it, and that I can add to like my nourish bowls that I'm planning on having for this week. Sesame dressing can be made with some like soy sauce or not, or some vinegar, and I'm just using a little bit of soy sauce and a little bit of rice wine vinegar. The instructions are right on the jar as well, again, just like our packages. Everything's right there, so you don't have to go looking for it. So chickpeas with sesame ginger dressing is all done. This is one of my favorites. I actually love the smell of this. So I can make it just regular ginger, so that's like some dressing mix with soy sauce, rice vinegar, and oil if you want. I don't use oil, but you can if you'd like. You can make it creamy with like nut butter or seed butter or something and do that as well. So it's great for like dipping in your like salad dress, what do you call them? Thai salad rolls. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so that's done. Next I was actually going to prepare is actual getting the veggies ready for the nourish bowls that I want to have this week. Everything's looking good. All right, so I already have zucchini chopped up. It was left over from last night's dinner, so that's ready to go. And then I'm going to chop up some carrots and some cucumber and just toss them into a container here where I can just grab what I need and throw it into a nourish bowl. Which is, oh yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Like a lot of our dressings actually give you multiple versions of how to make things. So there's literally like 3 different recipes on here. I can remember that. So there's the standard one I said, which is what I use. There's a nut butter one to make it creamy, and then there's actually like it tells you how to make an Asian noodle salad with it, as an Asian noodle salad. Wow, with it as well. And most of them all come with that. So some actually say like put things like mustard in with it, and then the nut butter or seed butter, whatever it is you like. And you can just change it up. And that's the other thing too, is you can just literally change up your salad dressing just by switching it up with like some mustard one day or the nut butter the next day, or just simple, and then go from there. So I'm making the veggies, but I'm not going to be like putting dressing or anything on it, obviously, because I don't want it to go soft and all that. But all I want is just enough for it to be done. So when I'm ready to make my dressing or my salad, sorry, on middle of the week, right, when I've got other things going, I don't want to be fussing either. I want a quick salad. All I got to do is just grab a couple handfuls of the veggies I chopped up, and I put some dressing on it, or add in some leftovers, things like that. And the other thing too, chop it up, some of these veggies, so I don't recommend cucumber obviously for very long, maybe a day or something. But you can have these already chopped up if that helps with your meal prep. All right, so there's 5 minutes are up. I can add in the potatoes. And a tablespoon of the peanut butter. just mixing it all up, and then I'll bring it back to show you what it looks like. And it's just a couple more minutes after this, and then it's all ready to go. So there's African stew ready to go. I didn't make with sweet potatoes, made it with regular. I did do tomatoes, but fresh, not canned. And then that's it. So for me personally, I'm looking at this going, that's at least 6 meals for us. So 3 for him, 3 for me. And oh yeah, definitely smells really, really good. Like I really wish I could give you guys smell-o-vision because it's so yummy. Anyway, so that's for a couple of days of our meals. And awesome. Okay, one more carrot. So what I was saying is that you could actually just chop up things like your carrots and your peppers and have them ready. So if you wanted to quickly throw some veggies into a pot or one pot wonder or stew or something, they're already done and ready for you. You can do it ahead and freeze them, or you could just do it if you're planning on it for a couple of days in advance. So I've got a couple of carrots done, I got some cucumber done. I just need a spot for my celery, and this piece will be done. For quick nourish bowls for the beginning of our week. Alright, so there we go. Cucumber, carrots, celery chopped up and ready to go there. I've got my chickpeas all done and ready to go. African stew is almost done. Gingerbread is almost done. And lastly, I was going to actually chop up I do have peppers, but I'm actually going to do those ones for later. I do want to do is chop up some lemon and limes and make myself lemon and lime little ice cubes all ready to go for the week, so that when I'm drinking my water, it has a bit of like lemon and lime in it. And there we go. So pretty much that's done. I just want to check on my gingerbread. They look almost done. Be noisy for a sec. Oh yeah. Give that a second and then I'll show you those. I just don't want to have the fire alarm going off while we're doing this. So I have my ice cube tray. I have my 2-in-1 press. So I will press first and get as much of the juice out, which is why I love our press. Pretty cool. And then I might chop up a few pieces of it, so I have a little bit of the color as well inside my ice cube. And waste not, want not, right? I don't mind the skin, so it's okay. And then these are actually really big lemons. Might not be able to squish them. Make it work. Not the prettiest, but hey, it works. Good morning. Fridge smarts. All right. And then I don't have to deal with the pits, which is even better, even though this lemon has a lot. Like, look at how many are in there. There's like a lot of pits in that one. Or whatever. Seeds, pits. Super big ones. I'm almost got like full ice cubes here of just lemon and lime juice. What I get for having really big lemons here. All right. And then lastly, I just, as I said, want to have a bit of lemon and limes in there. a few pieces in. And then I'll just top it up with a bit of water and then freeze it. And then there's great little ice cubes for my water throughout the day. So again, meal prepping doesn't just have to be about meals. You could prep some drinks going. You could have iced tea done as well if you like some iced tea. You can even make an iced tea syrup. I tend not to use the sugar part of it, but it's definitely something you can still do if you want to add a little bit of sugar to your drinks, because that's what you like. And then you can have your own iced tea. So anyway, there's some lemons in there, lemon juice, and I'm just going to top it up with some water. And if you don't have a nice, if you have our Perfect Petite pan, it's also pretty good to do that one as well. You can make a whole bunch, like 30 little ice cubes with this, and use that. But if you have a smaller freezer like I do, I tend to only use that for when I have leftover things like sauces, dressings, things like that. And then I'll put that into the freezer and then pop them out when they're done. Same thing for desserts. Pop them in there. I'll do that, like my favorite chocolate peanut butter bars that I love making. They go in the freezer, pop them out, so it's pretty awesome. So there we go. I've got some ice cubes with lemon and lime all done. I've got some Nourish Bowl veggies ready to go, Nourish Bowl chickpeas all ready to go. I have really easy to do dressings because I have so many of them. And then I have the African stew and I have gingerbread. So there you go. There are a few days worth of meals all set and ready to go. Let me show you the gingerbread. Gingerbread. So gingerbread's all done. And the African stew is all done. And it looks really good. I have to show you again. So there we go. Awesome. So half an hour, done. As I said, like at least 6 meals, which is like 3 meals for us, for there's 2 of us. The Nourish Bowls, I've got 3 lunches set up aside. And the gingerbread, of course, I'm going to freeze some of it so that we don't eat it all at once. But there you go. So dessert, some dinner, some lunches going. I already have breakfast. I'll quickly show you those. So breakfast for me is my superhero cookies. When I make them, I make enough for about 2 or 3 weeks worth. So I don't have to worry about them. Pretty much once a month, I'm making either these or the protein power balls, which don't need to bake. So these ones are literally just dates, protein powder, a little bit of oats, and away you go. This one actually does cook for about 20 minutes. Again, protein powder, oats, dried fruit, nut butter. Anyway, it just changes up the flavor and the texture, but these are breakfasts and they're set for me for a whole month. So that's kind of the other thing about meal prepping, is I do a whole bunch to kind of last me for a while. And they freeze really easy. And veggies are really the only thing I kind of focus on, because we get that every week fresh. And I put some in the freezer, so like there's spinach in the freezer right now. There'll be broccoli in the freezer, things like that. And I make that ahead. I could do the same with peppers. I could chop these all up, lay them flat, let them freeze, and then throw them into a baggie or something, and we could do that. If you notice that your veggies maybe are going, you didn't get to them in time, you can freeze most of it. It's going into a cook, like you're cooking it anyways, like in something, no big deal to throw most of your vegetables in the freezer. So there you go. So there's a few tips. Here's my food for the week. I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. And yeah, so if you have questions about meal prep, your questions about Epicure, you liked anything you see here, you can totally reach out to me. Obviously, I've got a cooking class open all the time, but you can just head over to the website and see what interests you. If you like what I'm doing and this seems fun and interesting, you can always join my team and be an Epicure consultant like I am, and I get to just talk about food. So if you would like to just talk about food, let me know. We can just talk about food. All right, cauliflower. Okay, awesome. Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah, you don't have to use the potatoes and all that. You could use whatever vegetable or protein. Like as I said, I didn't need to use the turkey. I could have used just some beans. Do that and go ahead for yourself. Or you could use any vegetable that you like, broccoli, cauliflower. Today I kind of made it as almost as the recipe said, just so that I could see what it tastes like. But I'm going to be changing it up for sure, because that's just, we don't eat a lot of potatoes either. So just things like that. And I do love stews, so that's what I'm pretty loving about that. So there you go. So thank you for everybody who joined. Again, happy Sunday, happy meal prep. Love to see what you guys are meal prepping, and yeah, take care. And I think my next one will be October 11th. I think I'm going to do it just for like the family dinners on 11th, and then again on the, I can't remember if it's the 20th or something. I don't remember what day it is. But anyway, I do have them every month. I do twice a month. I do this. So if you want to hop on the next one, it'll be in October. Otherwise, take care, and thank you everybody for joining.